Ranline logbook here, and after making the Fairytale Guild ranking and then the Dragon Slayer ranking, I was then asked to do demons. This one was a little more complicated because the demons are spread throughout the entire story and you have to find them all. But I don't even think I even found them all. But these are the ones I did find, and I figured, why not do it? Also, I created a new playlist because I have so many ranking videos at this point. Might as well. It's called Ranking Weakest to Strongest Anime. The reason why it's not just Fairy Tail, but anime, is because the first video on there is actually one that I made in January of 2022, the One Piece ranking. It's actually the first video I ever made. Okay, I guess I should get started. At 21, we have the people of Gunala Island. They're an island of demons, civilians, and so that's it. They're literally just civilians. There's really nothing about them that screams combat. At 20, we got Lamy. Lamy is more of a scientist than an actual fighter. Her entire job is to make sure the demons stay alive and to create new demons. That's basically her entire purpose. She has the ability to multiply herself, but the simple fact is that this is really just used as a rush attack to fight against no-name fodder, keep them busy, because that's literally what happened. She basically just fought against no-name fodder. Also, other members of Fairy Tail who actually have names, but still, mostly no-name fodder fought against her. That was basically her entire role. Defeating her is more of an annoyance than it is a struggle, because she just generally is just an annoying brat. At 19, we have Yakadora. He's basically just a giant octopus thingy that basically just tortures you with electricity. That's his entire job. He's a torturer in the dungeon of Tartaros. Really, there's nothing about him that's really combat-oriented. At 18, we got Lullaby. Lullaby was defeated by a combination of Urza, Gray, and Natsu working together way at the beginning of the story. It's at basically fodder at this point. That's how weak Lullaby is. So at 17, we're going to have a massive jump in power. We have Dora Date. Dora Date is basically a human who's turned into a demon by that little annoying bunny girl. But the thing is, other than a hack's ability that turns people into kids, he's really not that strong, actually. Gray beat him pretty soundly. Pre-time skip Gray did. Pre-Demon Slayer Magic Gray. But I guess it's not his fault. I mean, he was a pre-arc bad guy. He was basically just a setup arc bad guy. At 16, we got Plutogram. Plutogram is a giant fucking structure. It is a living cube, a living fortress that all the other demons of Tartaros live in. It's roughly not the strongest thing out there, but it does have hacks where it can absorb any human or non-demon that's inside of it. But if you're not inside of it and you're on top of it, you can basically just fight and kill it like any other monster. It doesn't really seem to have a high level of intelligence either. I say that because it couldn't determine the difference between its enemy and the humans that were working for Tartaros when Margir activated it, so it just seems to be a wild beast. Which is why I can't really get it any higher, because you can just, trap it, outsmart it, and kill it. At 15, we have Fremeth. Fremeth is, his ability is to take people's souls and then use their magic against them, or use the magic of the dead. The only thing is, he can't actually access their magic power. He can only access their magic abilities. So he has to basically rely on his own strength. So when he took Hades' soul, he didn't actually become as strong as Hades. He just was, garbage. Utter, complete garbage. And got completely destroyed by Natsu. At 14, we have Jackal. Jackal, surprisingly weaker than I remember. When I went back to check, he basically gets destroyed by Natsu and needs to use hostages to survive. And then he gets one-shotted by Lucy after she gets a pre-version of her star dresses. Yeah, he wasn't really that impressive. I think the thing was that what made him seem so threatening was the fact that he wiped out the entire, Magic Council. But the thing is, none of them were that powerful wizards. They're just a bunch of old men who do politics. Legit, I was just surprised. Seriously, Tartaros really was being held up by that machine that kept them alive. At 13, we got Keys. You think his most impressive ability, being a necromancer, would be the thing that he uses the most, but he really doesn't fight that way. He generally just fights like a sorcerer in most series who likes to keep his distance and fight from long range. It's crazy how he just doesn't produce an army of the undead to fight for him. It's very weird. But yeah, at 12, I have Minerva. Minerva was already stronger than Juvia and Lucy before becoming a demon, and then becoming a demon, your power is magnified. I say this because her father also becomes a demon, and he also becomes vastly more powerful. We'll get to him in a minute. Still, the fact that Minerva is actually this high on the list actually surprised me. Would have guessed that all the demon gates would have been more powerful than her, but no, both Jackal and Keys are legit weaker than even Minerva. Plus, she has the time skip to get stronger, but she doesn't really have any feats after the time skip, so can't really go anything with that, so I'm just going to keep her where she's at. At 11, I got Ezel. Yeah, so Ezel is actually a lot more powerful than I would have guessed. It's shown that based on the final arc when he comes back as a Historia, and he has to fight Wendy again, and this time Wendy does everything she has to beat him. The reason why Wendy was able to beat him before and break the face was because when she went to Dragon Force the first time, she did it by cheating by drinking up all of the magic that was actually in the area. Because Face was basically on the verge of unleashing its power, so it was like, absorbing mass quantities of magic. It's basically when Natsu ate pure Aetheron, which is pure magic. She basically did the same thing. She just devoured pure magic and was able to defeat this motherfucker. Yeah, it was proven in the final arc that no, he was actually a lot stronger than I actually anticipated. Even if she went Dragon Force normally like she does now, there's no way she would have been beating him back then. Really did need that massive increase in power, just all that magic just being consumed. At number 10, we have Jima Orland, also known as Minerva's father and the former master of Sabretooth. Yeah, so before he was a demon, he ended up getting one-shotted by Sting after he awakened his power, but now it requires both Sting and Rogue to defeat him in a tag team fight. Like, that's an insane power increase from the demonification. Like, that is more than double the power. Like, he probably got 3 to 4, maybe even 5 times stronger just by being turned to a demon. That's ridiculous. But that's what happened, and he's dead now, so it doesn't really matter. At number 9, I got Temperature. Temperature was able to take on Natsu in Fire, Lightning, Dragon mode, and also he lost to a Cycloxus. It's crazy the difference in power between number 10 and number 9. Like, it's a giant jump. It kind of, because let's be honest, Natsu at full power would have no problem against Rogue and Sting. Once again, these jumps in powers between demons is so erratic. It's probably even greater than most characters I've ranked so far. Okay, this name is impossible for me to pronounce. Tuara Zafar. He's basically the shark dude who's able to produce basically poison water. And then he makes you fight in a water combat, which is ridiculous. Like, his curse is kind of bullshit, really. It's not the most bullshit curse out there. No, we'll get to that. This one is pretty absurd. It basically just nullifies pretty much anyone who his opponent is, unless they just overwhelm him. I mean, Gajil basically only won because he turned the carbon in the water he absorbed it and then turned his iron into steel. That broke through the dude's defenses. Yeah, this guy is kind of busted. His abilities are just cheat. Just straight up cheat code. At number 7, I have Kyoka. Kyoka, this is the one who has like the most bullshit curse where she can basically just take away your senses, heighten your pain, do whatever the fuck she wants to your entire nervous. Honestly, the only character probably who could have beaten her was Urza. Well, like the show said, Urza. It's funny how she comes back as a Historia and she actually needs help to take on Urza this time, and even then just gets obliterated by Urza's willpower alone. Wow, it's crazy just how much more powerful the characters came in that 1 year time skip. Which is why I was debating on where Minerva should go. But I'm going to keep her at 12 until she has any new feats. Okay, at number 6, I have Satya. Okay, I was debating for a long time either put her or Margir at 6 or 5. And the reason for that is Sayra, now that she was eaten by Mirajane, Mirajane has this ultimate battle form where she fuses Sevir's soul with all the other souls of the lesser demons that were in Tartaros, so the nameless foot soldiers. And this is Mirajane's strongest demon form. The thing is, I wasn't entirely sure what was Sahira's power combined with the new souls, and what was more Mirajane's training for the last year. Because her Saint Souls do get stronger as she trains with them. That's pretty obvious based on how the story's been going. So it was unclear to me how much is Sahira and how much is Mirajane in the final arc. I decided that Sahira plus some souls, a bunch of demon souls, wouldn't match up to Margir's strength, as Margir was vastly above everyone else of the Tartarus. So yeah, that's why she's here. We added Mirajane to the list, actual power, that wouldn't be rating the demon, that would just be rating Mirajane, so that's my reasoning. So it should be obvious that I have Margir at 5. Margir is basically just a tier below the lowest tier of Spriggans, and I say that because he was straight up just bodying everyone. Even Natsu and Gray had to team up, plus Gray had to use Demon Slayer magic just to put this guy down. Obviously, everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of characters became way more powerful than he was after the time skip. In fact, right now I would consider Margir to be on par with where Lucy is right now. And the Dormagon Labyrinth arc just ended. So that's roughly where I think Lucy is. She's now Margir level. But yeah, the only reason why I don't have him any higher than this, and he's still below all the Spriggans, is because Zeref straight up said that the only reason he had Arcade by his side was because he just happened to be a very powerful demon that he created. That goes for the another demon that Zeref created. He was also a Spriggan. So basically, if you were a Spriggan level demon, he kept you around. Otherwise, he basically said fuck off. So it's actually a lot easier to power skill him than you would think. Speaking of one of the demons Zeref created that's a part of the Spriggan 12, at number 4, I got Bloodman. So yeah, Bloodman was strong enough to be considered a Spriggan. Zeref kept him around. He did what he did. I would say he's probably a mid-tier Spriggan. You know what's crazy is that I just called him a mid-tier Spriggan, and he's ranked 4. That's that is how much the power scaling has really increased since the 100 Years Quest. It is insane just how Bloodman is ranked in the top 5. And how there just hasn't been any, demons lately in the story. Which, I kind of do hope there might be some demons during the Golden Owl arc, because they're not going to be guild. Why not make demons? So in 3rd place, we got Arcade Dragneel. Arcade is high Spriggan level, very powerful. Dude's got some broken abilities. His light magic is also just crushes most people. Guy was a real badass. Shame he had to die just begging Zeref for his life. Really fucked up way to die, but... And it was pretty clear that he was the strongest demon that Zeref ever made. Well, 2nd strongest, not counting another. But he was definitely the top tier 1 because Zeref allowed him to take the last name Dragneel. Even though he was humoring him, he still allowed it to happen because he was so powerful. Yeah, so the silver medalist, number 2. The 2nd strongest demon in the series so far. You're not going to believe this, but it's Deliora. In a one-on-one fight, Deliora beat Or. Okay. This is... Oh, I'm about to go on a rant. If you want to skip the rant, then I guess I'll put a time code below. But this needs to be talked about to explain why Deliora is so strong, but at the same time, what? In the final arc, Aura is brought back as a Historia. She fights against Grey and Leon at the exact same time, and even though Grey doesn't use Demon Slayer magic, she's overpowering both of them. She's straight up stronger than both of them. They can't even beat her whenever they both finally get their groove together and go at her. She still technically holds them off until obviously all the Historias are erased. Okay. Which is fine, that just means Or is super powerful, and that's perfectly fine. The only problem is, in Grey's backstory, Leon is basically begging Or to beat Deliora to prove that she's the strongest, because that's what he believes she is. And her response is, I'm not the strongest. There are plenty of people in the Western continent that are stronger than me, because they're from the Eastern continent. Grey even moves to the Western continent, to Friore, because he believes that's where he can get stronger, because that's where the stronger wizards are. Here's the problem with that. Based on the fact that she was able to basically hold off both Leon and Grey at the exact same time proves that she's definitely at least high Spriggan level. There is no fucking way she could have believed that there are so many people stronger than her in the Western continent. There's no way in hell. Because at that time, if we go back more than 20 years, because of the 7-year time skip, so more than 20 years into the past, that means the only person who would have been old enough to be stronger than Or in the Western continent was Gildarts. God Serena was still a teenager. If that. He could have been younger. So, how? How in God's name did Or think there were so many people more powerful than her? It just feels like a complete retcon, and it annoys the hell out of me ever since it happened. It is a retcon, that's fine. If she was just trying to encourage her students to get stronger than her, that's cool too. My God, this really annoyed me. But yeah, because she's high Spriggan level and Deliora beat her, I just had to assume Deliora was high or even above high Spriggan level. I don't know, but that's the only way it makes sense, that Deliora was that powerful. Okay, rant's over. And as for number 1, well, the answer to that is actually quite simple. It's Natsu, END. He's the strongest demon. Now, before anyone out there says he's not a demon, he even says he's not a demon, nor is he a dragon, he's Natsu Dragneel, a fairy tale, that's more of a spiritual, emotional thing. His physical body is a demonic body. He has a demon's body. It's literally on his scent. Both dragons and demon slayers can smell him, and they say, oh, you're a demon. No, he is in fact a demon. He just has the soul of a human. So yeah, there you go. That's my list. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, give a thumbs up so you enjoy more fairy tale and other anime things. Thank you, and have a great day.